Liminal Dad here. Hey, Liminal Dad here. Wow. I don't know what to say. I mean, I know what to say. I mean, I have a few things to say. I just got back from watching the Backrooms movie by Kane Pixels wrote and directed. I just came back from it. I came back from seeing it. It was a early, the preview night. So it's the 28th now, August 28th. And I feel like I'm kind of like in shock a bit. It was really bad. It was really bad. Oh my God, it was so, okay, well, when I say it's bad, I mean it was entertaining, It was a movie, it was a blockbuster movie that take this off. This is you know what else is bad? You know what else is really bad? Star Wars. God, Star Wars sucks. I mean, I thought I liked it as a kid. I'm 52 years old. I saw it in the theater in 1977. I thought it was, it was collected Star Wars figures and action sets and space, the vehicles and everything. But I just grew up and it's like, man, this is just for. This shit's for dummies. Yeah. Okay, but that's a different. This is the Star Wars. So I have this just because like my family went to Disney World several years ago, and my wife got a bunch of. She just got a bunch of related shirts for everybody to wear. Was it the Kahuna Matata? Hakuna Matata. Kahuna. Is it the Kahuna Matata? I don't know. Huna Katuna. Yeah, so I've got one of those I wear. I wear them all the time, because they're just, they feel they're comfortable and, they're kind of faded and whatever. Not into it though. Anyway, back to the Backrooms movie. Man, it was bad. I mean, on the scale of enjoyable. Okay, so let's start off. What would I give it? What score would I give it? I mean, right now I want to say 50%. I want to give it a 50% score. Just being fair and technical and just keeping things in mind. I might, in the coming days or future, I might bump it up to 60%. But I mean, I want to say 40%. So I'm going with 50% quality. And it was real surprising. It was very surprising to me to give it that score. Because I mean, I had high hopes for it. I mean, I thought it was a no-brainer. I thought I was walking into a grand slam, to be honest, because everything I've seen by Kane Parsons through his release on YouTube has just been great. I mean, The Oldest View, Rolling Giant stuff, all his Backrooms things. I mean, I've tried to make a video several times, but I have like 5 videos where I've recorded them, and I just didn't want to upload them, or I was just like, this is just not right yet. I'm not articulating it the way I want to, but it has to do with, I guess, the 2 camps that the Backrooms falls into, which for me, I mean, there may be, like, people might say, oh, there's technically 2 camps, and this is one, and this is the other. But just saying, for me, how I see it, the 2 camps are the visceral experience of the Backrooms, and then the cerebral experience. the cerebral experience being the one that's with the obsession of details and Easter eggs and the story um, and I feel like Kane Parsons he's done a good job of catering to everyone. There's been the visceral experience being where you're just somebody who's walking along or just living your life or doing something, and you got a camera and then you just fall into the back rooms. And you're like, what the fuck? And you're just navigating it real time, experiencing, emotions and just the visceral experience of tripping into the back rooms. I mean, there is no lore that matters. There's no details. There's no Easter eggs. I mean, like if you knew that stuff in advance, could it help you? Sure, yeah. I mean, it could help you your journey in the back rooms. If you knew all the lore and the details and the backstory and like this guy from 1972 did this and that, and then in the 80s did this and this happened, and the wind chimes. I mean, and one thing that I've said, it reminds me of in all these videos I've never uploaded, but what I keep wanting to compare it to, and God, I hope this is the video that I post, is Seinfeld. Whenever I was really into Seinfeld in the 90s, and I just assumed that everybody was watching it the same way that I watched it, which was just the whole thing of just observing people's failures, just focusing on these little failures that maybe we all experience, but then you have these people that are like hyper focused on it, and they're watching it go downhill in a spiral throughout the episode, and the comedy that comes from that. I thought that's what it was, but then the series ended, and I think it was People magazine, maybe Time, did a dedicated entire issue to Seinfeld, and of course I was just like, hey, I love Seinfeld. I'm gonna buy a copy of this to have. So I did, and I mean, I just remember like looking through it and just being kind of like mortified, because the entire thing was like basically kind of like a trivia fest about, are you a real Seinfeld fan? Well, then here's the test, and it was just kind of like quizzing and of all these details throughout the series, but they were like not important details. It was things like, what was the color of the bike hanging in the hallway in the background in Jerry's apartment, in the hallway that's next to the bathroom? Or what was the parking space number that George pulled into at work when he blah blah blah, just things like that. And I mean, I don't know that. I don't know. I haven't paying attention to that. I don't care. That's not what's important. It's the, digging into the thing that everybody, the thing that everybody goes through and wants to say subconsciously or like notices, but then disregards, just like digging into that, focusing in on that, that's what it's about. Right? But no, there's this major magazine that's just like catering to an entire, I mean, they must have amazing market research. So so that means that there's the millions of people, like the greater amount of fans are into this stuff, this pointless trivia about the color of things and the number and what did so and so say when this what kind of shirt was this person wearing? I mean, that's like I guess the phrase, I hate using phrases like this, uncanny valley. I feel like these phrases come up, and people just start using them and they just sort of become meaningless. And don't get me started about like backrooms lore, um, words and phrases like that. Sorry, my neck is, I guess, from looking up at the screen of the movie. So as the backrooms stuff has progressed over the years, people are, I mean, I'm definitely aware of the nerdlings that are interested in like the tiny details and like, whoa, everything has meaning. Everything means something. And, it's just kind of like, ew. I mean, it's not that I don't get it. It's not that I can't follow it. It's just like, why are you doing that? I mean, I guess to some degree, and Kane's good. He's been good on YouTube about about, I mean, the story's interesting that he's telling, but then, he's got some episodes where it's like, kind of like, it's just like, because, the thing is that where, you're just supposed to like look at shit on a, what do you call it? On a, whoa, what's it called? A cork, like stuff are posted on a cork board or whatever, like little messages and pictures and stuff. And it's like, oh, I see the date, and I tie it with this, and I tie, I mean that. You know what else it reminds me of? That '60s show, The Prisoner. There was an episode where, well, I mean, I'm not going to sit. I don't want to give you the background of The Prisoner. Just go look up The Prisoner. It's great. It's more. It's on the nose. It's like good propaganda, I guess. Just talking about people who are kind of, I mean, just pointing out like how society kind of goes down mindless or pointless directions. Well, it's more about that, more than that. But there was one episode where it's all these people that are trapped on this island and they're being studied by an institute, or I haven't watched it in a while. I forget what the organization is, but they're being monitored and studied for some purpose. And in order for them to, pass the time, they're given these little activities and stuff. And there's this one guy, the main character, just, refuses to participate, and it's just about, I guess it's kind of like, reinforces individuality and independent thinking instead of going with the herd and the crowd and that kind of thing. I mean, again, it's more about more than that, but that's an aspect of it. So in one of the episodes, it's like they just have trivia. Like this institute is like, hey, you know what? Let's get these people hooked on trivia. So they're just, throughout the episode, the main character is walking around and people are just like little ants are walking to and like start tickling antennas. Like, oh, did you know that in 14 something like King Henry, blah, 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 I mean, just like rattling off factoids to each other, historical factoids, and then the other person is like so interested, like, oh, yes, I know that, and did you also know that this happened and this happened? It's like a lot of connecting dots about historical events, and it's just it's supposed to make you feel terrified that people get wrapped up in this kind of thing and distracted. But I guess that's kind of what this is what I'm getting at. Reminds me of the Backrooms. Let's get back to the Backrooms, though. Man, it was really bad. Bad for what it is. Now I gotta say, the kid directing it, I mean, I guess he's maybe 20 now, or but he was doing this stuff. I mean, he's still young. His brain is not even fully developed. I mean, and he seems like he's a genius. I mean, but I gotta say, I following his videos and everything he's done, seeing his interviews and stuff, I've had a feeling of like, a little jealousy. like, man, God, this kid's really on the ball. I wish I had a little bit of that, going on for myself. I wish I was, that on the ball at that age, that kind of, I mean, I don't spend too much time on that thought, but I mean, it's like, I'm a human being and it's there. Man, after seeing this movie, I'm like, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like, if you like put some kind of, I don't know, think of just putting somebody or something, like maybe a guy puts a girl on a pedestal, some girl he thinks is hot, and just creates this whole, like, it just has this whole thing and observes these people doing something, or this girl doing something in a certain way, and just like creates this delusion about, like, oh, this is where, then like something happens, and hears her thoughts, or talking or something, and you're like, oh what, she was nothing like I thought, or this is person I put on a pedestal, like, something happens, the curtain's pulled away, and you're like, huh? That's kind of how I feel right now about Kane Parsons. I mean, what do I want to say about the movie? I was very, I mean, the story, I mean, if this is part of the story continuing from the YouTube series, I mean, the movie is very cheesy in comparison, and is very, just like the reality bites is to grunge as the Backrooms movie is to the Backrooms and Kane Pixel's other work. It does not hold up well with, in comparison to to his other work. The entity, oh man, I mean, it's, I get that it's a part of the story, that, but it's just kind of like, you know what else it reminds me of? It's like he's the new Stephen King. Man, I mean, Stephen King, you put on one of his movies and you just feel like before the monster is revealed, you're into the story, like everything is just lining up, and you're like, man, I love it. What is it? Not the Tommyknockers, the Langoliers. That's one that really, that was dramatic. I remember I watched, it's been 30 years since I've seen it, so I don't know, maybe I watch it and feel like, oh, I don't even think the story, the build-up is that great. But I just thought it was so amazing. And then here come the monsters at the end, and you're like, oh my God, are you serious? But that's the way most of his movies are. They're all just like, it just get embarrassing and cringy. And that's how I feel about the entity in the Backrooms movie. I get, how it fits. It fits the storyline and all that kind of stuff. But I'm I feel like, I'm like, if everybody, if it was a deal where it's like, hey, here's your baton, or here's your vote, here's your ticket, you put it in, you give it to the person you think that needs to captain the helm of this, steer this ship into the right, this backroom ship where it needs to go. And I'm like, fuck yeah, Kane Parsons, here you go, buddy. Here you go. Now I'm like, can I get that back, please? I could give it to somebody else. I mean, I think somebody else needs to, well, I guess it's too late, he's just going to do it, but Man, I mean, I wish I could just, well, if Kaufman was like he was a year or more ago, I would like to give him to the, like the year or two ago Kaufman, or even the Sigatees. Oh man, there's so many. I don't even know their name. There's lots of. Oh God, there's what? Who is it? And I'd love to just start naming off, but it's like I haven't remembered the YouTubers that are doing this, but God, there's a lot better. And also, if based on this, I have to choose a camp, whereas I kind of put my foot in both, the details and the story, or the visceral experience, details of the story, vision. I'll go down the middle. I'll go down the middle. After this, I'm like team visceral experience, because that's, I feel like if this is how Kane Parsons wants to represent the Backrooms, man, I mean, I feel like it's just, I mean, there's barely even any Backrooms in it. I feel like it's void of Backrooms. It's void of visceral experience. Okay, so let me see. Okay, I'll get into things about the movie without. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'll give some spoilers. Maybe I won't. I don't know. First of all, suspension. I mean, disbelief not suspended. I felt like, just watching, the backroom set was not. I didn't feel. I didn't have that feeling, of when I watch a good backrooms video. It just wasn't there. Maybe a couple scenes, it was, kind of there, but I was not in the zone. It did not put me in the zone. The way the actual set they built, and I understand maybe some of it was done in Blender, a few things, but and there's this one scene, the dinner scene, the family dinner scene. I mean, it's I don't know if it's a nod to Texas Chainsaw Massacre or. Extremely bad. I mean, just cringy, embarrassing, cheesy. Man, I was just like, oh my God, what the fuck is happening here? This is like I mean, it's almost making like a mockery of itself, making fun of itself. It's just, not good. Yeah, and then there's some like, I mean, it's whatever. It's Hollywood. I mean, I guess there's got to be some gimmickry and some like, funny character, little reaction. There's some funny characters that do like that do a couple silly things, and it's just like, I mean, integrity down the drain, in the toilet, Kane. It's there's, I don't know, there's some good stuff in the beginning. Some of the setup. I actually thought like, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, getting into the psychology of Clark with his therapist in the beginning, like I almost was thinking, like at the time I was thinking like, man, this could just be a movie in itself. His backstory, her backstory. Let's just forget the backrooms and let's just do this. Let's just have a story about them. I mean, that would have been way more interesting than trying to drag the backrooms into it. I feel like I would have enjoyed that more. I mean, it just seemed more. That suspended my disbelief. That the first part of it, but then once the backrooms starts getting into it, no, it's no good, no good. And Mark Duplass just seems like he's there for a face, a familiar popular, friendly face. I guess maybe somebody had to play that character, but it's just not very prominent. And yeah, the end scene that he is in, you know, I didn't believe his delivery as his character, the scientist. Did not believe his delivery in the end, his little monologue or whatever he was giving. Yeah, it just turned into a Stephen King embarrassing monster fest. It was entertaining. I mean, I like, you know, I can get suckered into a good Hollywood blockbuster, even if it's, you know, I kind of like in the hindsight, like, that's not very good. But in the moment, it was. But you know, I feel like there's even worse movies that I felt more drawn into, just bonehead shit that this. Yeah, it was. Let's see what I'm trying to think of other things, you know, without going into detail about, you know, spoiler type things. Yeah, it was a letdown. It was a letdown, and I don't care about the Easter eggs. I don't care about the details. I don't care about how it ties into this guy or the other guy, this scientist who started this and the low proximity effect. I mean, this is not what the Backrooms should be about at all. He's Kane. I hope for his sake that he was forced to steer the ship off course, and that it comes out that was the case, and that he is the genius that he, you know, seemed to be, and that, you know, somehow as time goes on, he continues his YouTube stuff in a manner that he has been, where it caters to everyone. The people who are into the visceral experience have been just being dropped in the back rooms and like, what the fuck? I don't know what's going on. I'm going here, I'm going there. You know, where am I? You know, where do I go? Oh no, this thing's, you know, after me. And there was definitely not enough of, you know, the whole aspect of the back rooms of wandering and feeling lost. Just that element, that being the monster itself, there is none of that in there in the movie. I mean, none of that, you know, grabbed me. None of that, that good stuff on YouTube Backrooms videos, did not translate into this movie. None of that stuff. I mean, his last found footage 3. I mean, eons beyond the Backrooms movie. I mean, everything that is tapped into in that last found footage video that Kane did, it's just, I mean, this is just, like I said, the movie Reality Bites, which, you know, it kind of shows the corporatization of a musical movement of grunge, you know. Which, I mean, I'm not a big grunge fan, but I'm just saying the concept of that, you know, I feel like that happened here. This is the Reality Bites of the Backrooms. I'm probably going to shut this off and realize, like, I wish I said this and that. I'll have to make another video if I do, or maybe a short, I don't know. But that's it. I'm going to wrap it up. 50%? I want to say 40%. No bueno. No good. Sorry, Kane. You know, I hope you are able to steer the ship back, and that's the real you does that, and that wants to do that, and that you were just kind of in a situation where you were manipulated and found yourself there. All right, bye. Liminal Dad out.